Family is where our story begins, but it's not always where our light is celebrated. Among siblings, especially in spiritual families, there's often an unseen competition brewing beneath the surface. While you may have grown up sharing the same roof, the same meals, and maybe even the same bed at times, the calling on your life sets you apart. You may not have asked for it. You didn't volunteer to be different. But from an early age, something about you just didn't blend in. And deep down, your siblings felt it. You were marked for a divine assignment, and whether they admit it or not, they saw the spark before you ever recognized it in yourself. This chosen path comes with favor, but also with fire, and sometimes that fire comes from the ones closest to you. If you've ever felt like the odd one out in your family, always misunderstood, unfairly judged, or mysteriously envied, this message is for you. You may have thought something was wrong with you, when in reality something is profoundly right. You are the spiritual outlier, the generational shift, the one God whispered to in the night and separated in silence. Now, before we go deeper into the 9 powerful signs your siblings know you're the chosen one, I ask you to subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. And if this message has come to you at the perfect time, when your soul was crying for clarity, type 1111 in the comment section as a prophetic declaration for divine blessings, protection, and strength. 1. You were treated differently, but not in a good way. From childhood, something about you stood out, but not in the way people usually celebrate. You weren't praised for your uniqueness, you were punished for it. While your siblings were allowed to be messy, make mistakes, or even misbehave without major consequences, you were often the one singled out. The rules seemed stricter for you. The tone of correction was always harsher. Even when you were innocent, the blame found its way to you. And even when you were excellent, the applause was faint or non-existent. You may have been called too sensitive, too serious, or too different, but none of that was by accident. There was something sacred about your essence, and even though your family couldn't articulate it, they sensed it. On a spiritual level, your light irritated their shadows. Your soul carried weight, wisdom, and calling, even as a child. And the human instinct is to reject what we don't understand. So while it felt like rejection, it was actually a form of spiritual resistance. Your siblings may not have realized it, but their treatment was not just emotional, it was energetic. You disrupted the old patterns. Your presence challenged the status quo. And often, those born with divine favor are not nurtured. They are misunderstood, misjudged, and mishandled. But take heart. Being held to a higher standard is a painful but undeniable clue that you were chosen to lead, not to blend in. 2. They compete with you even when you're not competing. You never set out to be better than anyone. You just wanted to grow, to heal, to thrive in your own lane. But somehow, every milestone you reach becomes ammunition for an invisible competition you never signed up for. You might notice subtle digs, sarcastic remarks, or passive-aggressive comments when you share your wins. They might say things like, "Must be nice," or "You think you're better now?" But beneath those words is a deeper truth. They feel threatened. Your siblings aren't mad at you, they're mad at what you reflect back to them. Your elevation reveals their stagnation. Your consistency reminds them of their excuses. Your favor uncovers their fears. And so, rather than cheering you on, they start racing against you in silence. If you buy a car, they suddenly need one too, maybe bigger or newer. If you launch a business, they'll downplay it while secretly checking how successful it is. If you make a spiritual breakthrough, they'll scoff or mock, all while watching your every move. This isn't healthy sibling rivalry, it's spiritual friction. It's what happens when one among many is called to rise higher. Your light doesn't just shine, it exposes. And not everyone is ready to face what that light reveals about themselves. That's why they keep score even when you're not playing. That's why they try to outperform you in areas you never even bragged about. But don't let it dim your spirit. You were never in competition, you were in alignment, and that alone changes everything. 3. They imitate you, but never give you credit. There's a silent admiration hidden behind the shade they throw. Your siblings watch you closely, closer than they'll ever admit. They notice how you speak, how you dress, the way you think, and the peace you carry. And strangely enough, They start to adopt your habits. Maybe they mocked your self-discipline at first, only to later pick up similar routines. Maybe they ridiculed your spiritual journey, your prayers, your fasting, your meditations, but now they practice in secret. They start to mirror your growth, but never mention your name when others ask where the inspiration came from. And why? Because giving you credit means acknowledging your position, your divine role in the family dynamic. It would mean humbling themselves to say, "I learned this from you," and that's something their pride cannot allow. So instead, they pretend they figured it out on their own. Or worse, they act like you're copying them. But the truth is, chosen ones are often hidden mentors to those who resent them. You become their blueprint, even as they try to erase your influence. There's a deep irony in how they try so hard to discredit you while also drawing from your well. But don't be disheartened. Even Jesus was imitated and mocked in the same breath. They couldn't admit who he was, but they couldn't ignore what he carried. Likewise, your siblings may never celebrate you openly, but your impact is undeniable. Your life is teaching them, even if their ego won't let them say thank you. 4. They try to pull you back into who you used to be. Change is uncomfortable, not just for you but for those who've known you the longest. When you start evolving, spiritually, mentally, emotionally, it unsettles the familiar roles everyone once played. Your siblings might begin to joke about your past, bringing up old mistakes or immature habits, saying things like, "Don't act like you're too good now," or "You've changed." What they're really saying is, "I'm not ready to meet the new version of you." Growth threatens comfort, and when the chosen one begins to ascend, it breaks the unspoken contracts of dysfunction. They might try to drag you back with memories, gossip, or guilt. They want you to stay the person they could predict, control, or mock. Because if you change, it forces them to confront why they haven't. It forces them to ask tough questions. Why haven't I grown? What am I avoiding? What does their transformation say about my stagnation? That's why they keep referencing who you were, not who you are becoming. They're not just resisting your change, they're resisting the change it demands in them. But understand this, your evolution is necessary. You are not who you used to be. And their comfort should never become your prison. You have been called to shed old skins, to rise above old labels, to become the healed, whole version of yourself. Let them talk, let them tease, let them reminisce, but don't go back. You're not being arrogant, you're being aligned. 5. They only call when they need something. You're the dependable one, the one with answers, with resources, with wisdom. Your siblings may not reach out just to check in or see how you're doing, but the moment they're in crisis, your phone rings. They remember you exist when they're in need. And while you want to be loving and helpful, over time, it begins to feel one-sided. You start to realize you're not being loved, you're being used. You've become a spiritual lighthouse to your family, but instead of protecting and honoring your light, they drain it. They expect you to pour from your cup endlessly, even when yours is empty. And when you finally draw a boundary, when you say not this time, they act betrayed. They might call you selfish or distant, as if your time and energy were ever theirs to claim. But what they don't understand is that being chosen comes with a cost. You carry burdens they don't see. You spend time in spiritual warfare, in deep reflection, in emotional battles they couldn't survive. Your strength is not for exploitation, it's for purpose. And if they truly loved you, they'd respect the cost of your calling, not just the convenience of it. Don't feel guilty for saying no. You were not born to be everyone's lifeboat while you drown in silence. Love them, pray for them, but don't let their demands destroy your divine peace. 6. Family members secretly favor you, and it fuels their bitterness. You may not have asked for it, but somewhere along the way, you became the anchor. The family looks to you in times of conflict. Elders seek your counsel. During gatherings, you're the one asked to pray, speak, or guide the moment. Even when others resist it, there's an undeniable spiritual weight to your presence. You've been entrusted with responsibility, not because you demanded it, but because the divine chose you for it. And while some siblings accept this with grace, others quietly burn with envy. To them, every compliment you receive is a dagger. Every nod of respect directed toward you feels like a slap in the face. They assume it's favoritism. But what they don't understand is that your favor wasn't handed to you. It was forged through fire. The late nights, the private tears, the spiritual disciplines, the inner battles, they didn't see that. They only see the result, not the cost. Divine preparation often happens in silence. You were being molded while they were distracted. You were growing roots while they were chasing attention. And now that the fruit is visible, they can't handle the harvest. But don't shrink to make them feel better. You didn't ask for the favor, you accepted the calling, and their bitterness is not your burden to carry. Remain humble, remain faithful, but never apologize for the light God placed on you. 7. You feel the energy shift when you walk into the room. There's a silence that falls when you enter certain spaces. Conversations stall, smiles become stiff. You can feel the spiritual atmosphere tighten, even if nothing is said. That's not paranoia, it's spiritual sensitivity. As a chosen one, your very presence is disruptive to unhealed environments. You don't have to preach, correct, or expose anyone. Your energy alone reveals truths people would rather keep hidden. You are a walking mirror, reflecting both the beauty and the brokenness in those around you. And not everyone wants to look at themselves that closely. When you step into the room, people feel convicted, not because you judge them, but because your growth makes their excuses harder to live with. Your peace makes their chaos loud. Your discipline challenges their laziness. Your healing reveals their wounds. And so, they become guarded. Some avoid eye contact, others become passive-aggressive. But deep down, they know who you are. Even if they mock you outwardly, inwardly they feel your authority. That's why you can feel like both the most loved and the most resisted person in the room. But don't let their tension make you shrink. You were sent to shift atmospheres, not to conform to them. Let your presence be a wake-up call. Walk with quiet confidence, knowing that the spiritual realm responds to you, not because of ego, but because of assignment. 8. Some of them silently support you, from a distance. Not every sibling is against you. Not all carry jealousy, resentment, or confusion about your purpose. In fact, some of them carry deep love for you. But they express it quietly, from the background, in ways you may not always notice. These are the ones who rarely comment on your posts, who don't always reach out or initiate conversations, but they see you. They're watching you with admiration that words can't fully express. They see the pressure you carry. They've observed your struggles and your sacrifices, and deep down, they're proud of how far you've come. In private moments, they talk about you with honor. They may even defend you when others speak against you, even if they never tell you. Their silence is not disinterest, it's reverence. Sometimes they keep their distance not because of dislike, but because they're not sure how to engage with someone walking such a sacred path. Your growth may intimidate them, but it also inspires them. They've chosen not to compete, not to compare, but to quietly support in the best way they know how. And in their own way, they're praying for you. They're hoping you succeed, because they understand that your rise is not just personal, it's generational. They know that when one person in the bloodline steps into divine purpose, it blesses the entire lineage. You are breaking curses they were born into. You are planting seeds they will one day harvest from. And while they may never say it, they're rooting for you with a love that runs deeper than applause. So don't overlook them. Don't confuse silence for absence. Some people support you not with noise, but with presence. And their quiet loyalty is one of the purest forms of love you'll ever experience. 9. They will either align with you or war against you. At some point, every sibling will be forced to make a choice. Accept your calling or fight against it. There's no in-between. The deeper you walk into purpose, the more polarizing your presence becomes. Some will align with your journey, support your mission, and grow with you. Others will resist, slander, and attempt to tear you down. But here's the truth: you were never chosen to be liked. You were chosen to be light. And light always separates darkness. To be chosen is both an honor and a battle. You didn't ask for this role, but heaven assigned it to you. And even if your siblings don't understand it now, your obedience will unlock blessings they never saw coming. So walk boldly, walk humbly, and walk with God. Because whether they accept you or fight you, your victory is already written. This is the Chosen Seer channel. If this resonated with your soul, Drop 1111 in the comments section. Let the heavens know you received this at the exact time you needed it. And don't forget to subscribe for more divine wisdom. Your light is rising, and no sibling rivalry can dim what God has ordained. Thank you for watching.